One late evening, the three of us were wandering aimlessly when Alec mentioned wanting to go to Pipe Peck to see a house that was up for sale. Once in the car, Alec described it as an old, dilapidated mansion built in Italian style, boasting 26 fireplaces, once inhabited by monks, but now abandoned. The mansion sat on 50 acres of land with access to beautiful terraces. I grew nervous. The idea didn't sit well with me. Nighttime wasn't the right time to inspect a house, and I was sure Alec was more drawn to the adventure than the mansion itself. We veered off the road and parked near the forest at the back of the mansion. It perched atop a hill at a considerable distance. It was a dark night with a cloud-covered sky and no light around, not even a single lamp. I shuddered as I followed Alec and Steve into the woods. The walk was long and eerie. Eventually, we reached an overgrown lawn with several terraces rising one above the other. Nervously trailing Alec and Steve, we ascended the first and then the second terrace. The mansion loomed ominously in the darkness, and the wind rustled the trees and howled in the thick bushes. As we reached the upper terrace, Alec and Steve headed towards the mansion's back door, determined to get inside. I froze. Nothing could compel me to approach that eerie structure. Glancing at the third floor, the mansion's windows gaped like dark eyes. I trembled. Suddenly, a ball of light appeared in one of the windows. Astonished, I blinked, recalling Alec's claim of the mansion's abandonment. The light seemed to hover, transforming into a feminine figure before my astonished eyes. I gasped in shock. My heart pounded so hard I felt it might burst. I tore my gaze away, calling out to Alec. "Alec," I whispered urgently, "we need to leave, now." My tone penetrated his empty mind, and he and Steve headed towards me. As they caught up, I bolted, running so fast even an Olympian would envy me. I managed to start the engine and turn the car around by the time Steve and Alec reached the road. They jumped in, and I sped away. "You said the mansion was abandoned," I said accusingly. "It was and is," Alec replied. "Except for the killer nun," Steve chimed in from the back seat. "Killer nun," I exclaimed. "Of course," Steve said, leaning forward between the front seats, shifting his gaze from me to Alec. "Didn't Alec tell you about the mad Mother Superior who turned to paganism and murdered all her nun sisters when they refused to partake in her rituals? She chopped them into bits, and their bodies were scattered throughout the mansion. When the police arrived, blood was everywhere. They say the ghost of the Mother Superior appears on the terrace at the back of the house. They say she tries to lure unsuspecting guests into the mansion to kill them." Shaking with fear, I dropped the guys off and returned home. The rest of the night, I dreamed of the glowing figure of the killer nun, chasing me across the terrace of the Italian mansion, wielding an axe